Hi, my name is Father John Griesbach. I'm currently the director of St. Anthony Retreat Center here in the town of Three Rivers. We are preparing to have a special day, a day of giving. It's going to be on June 13th of this year. And as a way of introducing that day, a number of us on our staff are going to be sharing with you a little bit about our past and our present, and then our future and the dreams and hopes that we have for St. Anthony Retreat Center. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the past of St. Anthony Retreat Center. It had its start in 1955 when the provincial of the Franciscans of the Santa Barbara province, Father Gregory Wooler, was tasked with coming to the central part of California to find a suitable place for the retreat center. He traveled from Fresno all the way south to Tehachapi and happened on one day to be coming into the post office here in Three Rivers when a gentleman was walking out, and he introduced himself and said, "You know, I'm looking for a site for a retreat center. Who should I talk to in town?" Well, the guy, his name was Dan Ellis, and he said, "Talk with me. Come with me, I'll show you a good spot." And so he jumped in his pickup with Dan Ellis, and they drove up to this site. One look at it, and Father Gregory knew he had found the place for the retreat center. And 3 months later, he purchased 37 acres of land just above the Kaweah River in a blue oak woodlands for the site for the retreat center. They went to work making plans for this place, and their plans were really remarkable and wonderful. Father Gregory spent time fundraising in the Central Valley, and by 1957 they had enough money to begin the construction of the retreat center. But however, by the time they had pretty much put the foundations in, they'd run out of that money and they had to stop construction for a while Father Gregory went to see if he could find some more resources. Meanwhile, there was a construction crew of Franciscans working on a retreat center in New Mexico. They had finished their job, and so they came out and they began working here on the retreat center. And over the course of the next 4 years, they would build out St. Anthony Retreat Center. Initially, there was the dining room, the main hall, a wing along the ground floor called the St. Clair Wing, where they had residences for guests, a retreat and conference room at the end, and then upstairs was a monastery for the Franciscans. As time would go by, though, by 1970, they were able to build a chapel, and it was able to remodel the former chapel into meeting rooms and a small friar's chapel. Maybe you've had a chance, if you've been here, to be at a function in one of those rooms. Father Gregory retired in 1976 after 24 years of ministry and service at the retreat center. Father Evan Howard took up the baton, and he would be here through 1983. And he would be the first of the Franciscans to introduce lay workers to their team, also to invite the ecumenical larger Christian community to come to the retreat center, and ultimately to make great relationships with our community here in Three Rivers as well. As time would go by, the Franciscans, who were much younger when they first began this ministry, were aging, and by the time the 20th century gave way to the 21st century, a number of the Franciscan brothers were retired, living here in retirement, and little by little having to move on to retirement centers. About that same time, the Franciscan community was realizing that they would not have enough people to continue staffing all the different sites within their province. So in 2002, the Franciscans announced that they wanted to sell St. Anthony Retreat Center, and they were hoping that the Diocese of Fresno would be willing to purchase it. Bishop Steinbach, who was our bishop at the time, consulted with the priests as well as the people of our parishes, and when they thought it was a great idea to purchase the retreat center, he entered into a lease agreement with the Franciscans for 5 years with the intention of buying this retreat center. It was on the feast of St. Teresa of Lisieux on October the 1st of 2003 that he signed that contract with the Franciscans, and the Diocese of Fresno began operations here at St. Anthony Retreat Center. 4 days later, on the feast of St. Francis, I was assigned here as the first diocesan director, and that's been my ministry and my service since. That's a little bit of our history, a real brief explanation. There's so much more to share with you, but it gives you an idea of the background from which our diocese has been living and operating this retreat center for the last 19 years. There's so much more to tell you, and Father Rod Craig is going to pick up where I leave off in our little next video installment. He's going to tell you about the present ministries and services here at St. Anthony Retreat Center, and also about how it came about that we would build a youth center, Santa Teresita Youth Conference Center, to serve our young people as well. And then in a third vignette, Sister Danielle Witt, one of our staff members here, will be telling you about the hopes and the dreams that we have coming up for the future here at St. Anthony Retreat Center. All of which is meant to give us all an understanding of this great treasure of our diocese as we come to an opportunity for us to contribute to the support and for the future of its development. Would like to thank you for listening to this, and we hope that on June the 13th, you might tune in and make a contribution to support St. Anthony Retreat Center. Thanks a lot for the contributions that you will make toward this ministry.